Hi, my name's Kathy Bradick and I'm the founder of the Turbine Project. We make free headwear and face masks for patients who have lost their hair due to chemotherapy, alopecia, surgery, or any medical issue. They're free to everyone who needs them. You just need to ask or be at a place that we stock. Now today I'm going to show you how to make a face mask. This is a new product that we're making because we've had requests for them. We make them for men, women, and children. Today, the one I'm going to make is for a child, and this is what it's going to look like when we're done, okay? We'll have 2 pieces of fabric. One is flannel. The flannel is the part that goes next to the face, so it's soft. So here's going to be the part that goes to the face, and then the other piece is cotton. And you see I have a Snoopy design, so sometimes adults wear them, but this is for a child. So when we start, we're going to put those together, right sides together. The only other thing that we're going to do is add, we have 2 pieces of elastic, and the elastic is a 1/8 inch flat elastic. You can do it with bead elastic round, but you have to tie a knot in it. And when you tie the knot, you've got to sew over the knot, and I find that a little bit more difficult. So I like the flat elastic. So because we're going to have to turn this right side out, we're not going to sew it completely around, or we won't be able to do that. So I'm going to start with it about 3/4 of the way down on the fabric. And I'm going to sew towards the front. Towards the corner, excuse me, and I'm going to stop just shy of the corner. I'm going to flip this open and I'm going to lay the elastic in there. So the very edge, the very end of the elastic is going to go to the square, the tip of the corner of the fabric. So it's in there straight. And we're going to sew over it, and we're going to back it up and sew over it a couple of times because we want to anchor that in there, because that's going to go around the ears and there'll be some tension. Now we're going to sew down the side. This is just a regular straight stitch, and we're going to wait about 1 inch before we get to the corner. We're going to take the other end of that flat elastic and pull it to the corner, and we're going to stitch over it. And that'll be one side, one ear done. So we're going to go ahead and stitch over that, back it up a couple of times, make sure we've got it anchored. Now we're going to spin it around, and I always reach in and make sure I've pushed the elastic back away from the edge, because you don't want to sew over it again, okay? Now I've got the elastic secured. I'm going to go down. This is all the way across. Okay, I'm about 1 inch from the corner. Now we're going to do the other side with the elastic. So I'm going to lay that in there nice and flat to the corner. Lay that down. We're going to stitch right over the top of it. Back and forth a couple of times. Spin it around, make sure the elastic isn't in the way. We only want it anchored on the corners. We're going to stitch down this side. Okay, about 1 inch away, we're going to take the other side of the elastic, the other end, lay it in there nice and flat, and stitch over it. Back and forth. Okay, now we've got both of the ear elastics ready. Done. Now this is where you're not going to stitch all the way, because we've got to turn it right side out. So I'm going to stop right there. I backed it up. I'm going to pull this out and cut the threads, and then we're going to open it up. And to do that, even though the opening isn't very big, all you have to do is just start pushing, working it through, and it'll come right out. You see the elastic starting to come out now? We're getting Snoopy out. Okay, so we've got our elastics out. You can kind of pull them gently so that you pull the corners out so there's no puckering. Okay, and that's what we've got so far. Now what we're going to do next, the hole that we just pulled that out of, we've got to stitch shut. So that's one thing I'm going to pin. Because once we start stitching this time, we're going to go all the way around. And we'll go around twice. So we don't want anything, you know, where maybe you forgot about this seam being open. Now we're going to make the gathers. And if you noticed on the completed one, on the side, we've got gathering. That's what we're going to do. It's 3 tucks. And that I will pin also. So I just judge it. On the children's, it's a bit smaller. The adult sizes are larger. You can make a larger tuck, but on the children's, you have to do a fairly small one. And I pin those. Now, the only thing that you've got to remember, it'd be an easy mistake to make, is that when you get to the other side to make their tucks on the other side, that they're facing the same way as these. So these are going down, so we want to make sure this side's going to go down too. It'd be an easy mistake to make to have one side up and one side down. So that's just a little mental note for you. And we started making these because I had parents actually ask me if we considered it, and we hadn't. But children, when they're little and they're wearing paper face masks, don't want to wear them. And the parents were having trouble getting them to wear them. So once we started making them with child prints, and the flannel's nice and soft and the elastic's comfortable on the ears, they told me that the children would wear them. And sometimes even the parents have to wear them when the children are susceptible. So I'll make matching for the parents and children. And I'll make really cute cartoon ones for the parents, and it makes the children smile and not be as scared when they're going through all these treatments. Okay, now we're going to sew completely around the face mask, and we'll sew down those pleats that we made, and we're going to actually make 2 passes around. So I really sew very close to the edge on the first pass. Okay. And now we're going to go over the folds. I'm going to pull out the pins as I go because it's a bit thicker, so the machine works a little bit harder. Okay, did one side. And I try to keep the it nice and square. Sometimes if it gets lopsided, the flannel will peek out a little, and you want to keep it on the side it's supposed to be on. Once you've gone around it once, you don't have any issues. Okay, now we're going to go over the pleats on the other side, and I'm going to pull these pins out to take some of the thickness out of there. Okay, that's one complete. Now we're going to do it one more time, no pins, and I'm going to just run it very close to the other thread, but not exactly on top of it, so you'll see double seam. Now these are washable, and that makes it so nice. To know that you can reuse. It's planet friendly, let's say. You can make them reversible too. I put cotton with Snoopy on the front of this one, but you could, you know, do a flannel print It could be Snoopy or something else, and each side would be flannel, and then you could flip it over and wear it one way one time and another way the other time. So you could put different things on them. Okay, now I'm going to clip my threads. And I'm just using black thread for the contrast so you can see it when I'm sewing. I think it still looks okay with black thread, but normally I would probably do one that blends in a little better. So there you have it. We've got our completed face mask. Thank you.